Week 2 of the 2025 NFL season is upon us. Welcome into Got It Covered. I'm Giovanni Heater alongside Raza Umarani. And week 2, my man, let's buckle up. Week 1 was awesome. There's a lot of good games in week 2, though, that we're excited to talk about here.
Yeah, what does week 2 have for an encore? Because week 1 was a smashing success at the box office, but some movies fall off a little bit. Some movies can sustain it. Let's see how this smash hit does in week 2.
We already had game of the year, so it's hard to top that. Let's see if
That's
anything
true.
has that. And it starts with Thursday night football. Tonight, you got a great Thursday night football game, especially for Thursday night football. I've always said, I feel like the matchups leave something to be desired, especially as the season goes along. But Amazon Prime cooking with this one. Commanders on the road, taking on the Packers at Lambeau Field. Packers are 3.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 48.5. Can the kid and the boys get it done in the burgundy and gold, or will it be a lot of Lambeau leaping tonight in Green Bay?
Man, Green Bay in the all-white uniforms, the alternates, Jaden Daniels in prime time. This is about as good of a first Thursday nighter as you could really ask for, man. I'm rocking the Sean Taylor shirt today. I figured it'd be a little bit of good luck. I'm not sure. We're gonna fly through these picks, but I did just want to say something to get it off my chest. I want to pose a question to you.
Okay.
Who was president of the United States the last time Washington won in Green Bay?
I'm going to say the last time Washington won in Green Bay, the president was Reagan.
That is correct.
Bang!
The late 80s is the last time Washington went to Green Bay and won. Now, granted, they don't play there all the time, but it's been a minute. Washington's lost their last 6 games at Lambeau Field. Is Jaden going to be the one to break the streak against this defense? I'm not sure. The second the schedule came out, man, I said this was a loss because short week, going up to Lambeau, tough place to play against a team that was already good before they had Micah Parsons. Now you add Micah to the equation, and he's only going to play more as the season goes along. I will say, Packers dealing with a lot of injuries up front. I almost said Virginia Tech. If the Commanders' defensive line can recreate the performance they had against a patchwork Giants offensive line, it could be the difference in the game because we know Jaden Daniels can take over down the stretch. I think it's going to be a banger. I hate to say it. I think Green Bay pulls this one out in the end.
Give me the I hate the hook. Give me the Commanders to cover. Green Bay wins by a field goal.
Yeah, but, I don't hate that.
Yeah. Let's move on to our Sunday 1:00 window. We got Bills at Jets at MetLife Stadium. Buffalo's 6.5-point favorites. Over under at 46.5. You saw what the Bills and Josh Allen did last week with a magical comeback. You saw New York perform really, really well, and the offense look a lot better than I think we expected against Pittsburgh. Who you got in this one? I'm taking Buffalo to win the game and cover the 6.5. I'm also, I think, one of my favorite bets of the week is over 46.5. I think we could see some offenses, especially because the Bills are banged up in the secondary right now. I think we could see these offenses score some points. So give me the over 46.5. Bills to win by a touchdown, maybe 10, but still covering the 6.5. And what do you think?
It feels like it could be a comeback to earth spot for both teams, right? Is the Jets offense really going to look like that again? And how did the Bills respond? Or I guess, what's their encore after what they did in the fourth quarter on Sunday Night Football in week 1? I'm not sure. I kind of like the Jets to cover in this game based on like principle, playing the line and not the teams. But honestly, man, this feels like a game that Buffalo wins by 2 touchdowns. A division that's been light work for them in this decade, and I could see that trend continuing. This is the Nance and Romo game, so a lot of eyes will be on Buffalo in New York. Excited to watch it play out, but history tells me the Bills win this game pretty comfortably. I think that's going to be my pick.
Another 1:00 game, Jaguars at Bengals in Cincinnati. The Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. Over under at 48.5. I know Cincinnati didn't look great in week 1. Probably should have lost to the Browns. The Browns have always kind of been Joe Burrow's kryptonite for whatever reason. The Browns always keep it close. That's the beauty of divisional games in the National Football League, particularly when you look at the AFC North. The Jaguars are not that, and they're not in the AFC North. I think Cincinnati wins this game pretty comfortably. I got them to cover the 3.5 here.
I think Cincy wins. I think Cincy covers. I'm interested to see what Lawrence looks like. Trevor Lawrence for the Jags against a not great Cincinnati secondary. Obviously, this could be a big game for Travis Hunter. It could be Travis Hunter's welcome to the NFL game. I think BTJ is in for a bigger game for Jacksonville as well. In that vein, could be a lot of points scored in this game. Two not great secondaries, but man, Cincinnati, too much talent offensively, and they're not going to look as bad as they did last week. So I'll take them to win and cover the 3.5 as well.
Giants at Cowboys. Dallas is 5.5-point favorites. Over under is set at 44.5. As far as we know, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback at AT&T Stadium on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Give me the Cowboys to cover the 5.5-point spread. We know the Cowboys can score points. Cowboys looked actually pretty good against the Eagles on Thursday night last week. I was really impressed with the Cowboys and what they were able to do contending with the defending Super Bowl champs on both sides of the ball. I understand the Eagles were without Jalen Carter after the first snap of the game. Give me the Cowboys to cover here. They're going up against a good defensive line, and that's about it. And the Giants couldn't score at all against Washington. I don't see them being able to do it against Dallas either.
Back-to-back road games for the Giants. Dallas off a long week of rest, right? Playing last Thursday night. It just seems to favor the Cowboys in that regard. But to your point, man, we saw a lot of life out of Dallas last week, and we saw no life out of New York last week. So I think the Cowboys win. I think they cover. I think it's a big game for the Dallas offense. And I think that, they bounce back from a game they probably should have won against the Philadelphia Eagles last week, I should say.
Bears at Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. Detroit is 6.5-point favorites. Over under is at 46.5. Lions, not great last week, right? Can they kind of turn things around a little bit? We know all the question marks with the personnel that they lost on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, the offense looks completely different. You lose Ben Johnson. This is the Ben Johnson return game, right? As he goes back to Detroit. So many weapons offensively for the Lions, but how will they be used? The defensive side of the ball, there's question marks. The Bears looked solid in the first half against Minnesota and then completely collapsed as J.J. McCarthy leads the comeback on Monday Night Football. A lot of storylines at work here. One of the more fascinating games of the 1 o'clock window for sure. I actually think I like the Bears to maybe cover this spread here and the Lions to win the game at home.
It's an interesting game because of the Ben Johnson storyline and, what the Lions did to the Bears last year. Like, how are the Bears going to come out and play in this game, just between the way that those games ended against Detroit last year and how the game ended last week on Monday Night Football? A lot of money's been coming in on Detroit. It feels like, even though that's a big number for a divisional game, Detroit feels like the sharper side. I'm going to take the Lions to win this game because I think they are a better team across the board, particularly on offense. And I just trust their offense way more than I could trust Chicago's right now. But maybe it's a spot where Chicago's able to get right. I mean, Ben Johnson's going to come out with a lot to prove. I think it could be closer than Vegas would have you think, but I actually like Detroit to win and cover this game by the thinnest of margins. I think they win by a touchdown.
All right. Rams at Titans in Nashville. Rams are 5.5-point favorites. 41.5 is the spread. Give me the Rams to cover. Give me the Rams to cover in this one. But the Rams did not score a lot of points in week 1 against the Texans at all. I also think the Texans defense is a very different monster compared to Tennessee's.
Let me give you a player to watch in this game. T'Vondre Sweat against a beat-up Rams offensive line. He had a great game last week against a good Broncos offensive line, the elite Broncos offensive line. Could T'Vondre Sweat make a play to break this game for Tennessee? I don't know. Cam Ward home opener. Man, I just don't trust the rest of their offense outside of him. I'm really impressed with what I saw out of his tape last week, but this is a team that's too talented, and the Rams too well coached to drop a game like this at Tennessee. I think the Rams also win this game, and I'd probably take them with the 5.5 as well.
Patriots at Dolphins from Hard Rock in Miami Gardens. Miami is somehow 1.5-point favorites. Over under at 42.5. Slow start for the Patriots. They lose to the Raiders in week 1. That kind of took the wind out of the Mike Vrabel sails and all the hype behind New England. Miami looked absolutely atrocious in week 1, getting blown out by the Colts. Give me the Patriots to win this game. I don't know why Miami's favored, to be quite honest with you. I guess because it's on home turf, but usually you're supposed to get 3 points for that, not 1.5. So give me the Patriots to win this thing, and I could see them winning it by 10 or 14, honestly. I just think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder after how their debut last week went.
Classic spot to buy low on the Dolphins.
I know it.
Beautiful spot to buy low on the Dolphins. Give me Miami to win this game over the Patriots, man. I had them winning this game before the season started as well. Obviously, I didn't anticipate what happened last week, but I just see this as a win for Miami, man. It's hard to win those games down in South Florida in September because the weather is absolutely brutal. Patriots still might be without Christian Gonzalez. They're already dealing with a couple of other injuries as well. Worried a little bit about Drake May and that passing offense right now, and they couldn't get anything going in the running game either. It just feels like so often when a team gets blown out like the Dolphins did, they come back with a little bit more to fight for. I still think that there's so much dysfunction in the building. So obviously it wouldn't surprise me if they go out and lose this game by 10. But I'm playing like the trend and not the teams here. So I'm just going to take the Dolphins to win this thing.
49ers at Saints in New Orleans. San Francisco's 3.5-point favorites. Over-unders at 40.5. Remember, no Brock Purdy this week and probably for the next, they said, 3 to 5 weeks, essentially, in San Francisco. But again, the Saints, not great. I still think I like the Niners to win this thing and cover at 3.5. What are your thoughts?
If there was ever a game for the Saints to win, it would be this one.
It'd be this one.
So no Brock Purdy, as you said. Worth noting, it'll be Macaroni for the 49ers in this game. Mac Jones, my good friend. Had never been a fan of his, but we know that the Shanahan washing machine and also like the Kevin O'Connell washing machine can turn some bad quarterbacks into good quarterbacks. And I think Mac Jones actually fits the bill for what Shanahan wants in a quarterback. So a lot of other times you say, oh, backup quarterback, beat up team going on the road, they're going to lose. I think Mac is going to have decent control of that offense. I think CMC will have another big game. And I think San Francisco wins and probably covers that spread because New Orleans looked atrocious offensively. And this could be a game where we see Tyler Shuck.
Seattle Seahawks on the road in Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Pittsburgh's 3.5-point favorites. Over under quite low at 39.5. I believe it's the only game under 40 the entire week in the NFL. Who you got in this one? I think I'm taking the Steelers at 3.5 because Rodgers hooped in week 1. And it felt like a return to form, turning back the time, if you will. So give me the Steelers to cover the 3.5 in this one against the Seahawks. Long trip as well.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on this one. DK Metcalf revenge game against the secondary that is both bad and injured. Reek Woolen, one of the worst corners of week 1, if not the worst, aside from like Adoree Jackson in Philadelphia. DK Metcalf had a nice game in his first game in the black and yellow. I think it's another spot where Rodgers and Metcalf could explode again, particularly because I think their running game is still a work in progress. So they're going to put a lot on Rodgers' shoulders. I think Metcalf could have 125 yards and a touchdown in this game. And I think that'll be the difference. Again, I like what I saw out of Jackson Smith and Jigba and for the most part, Sam Darnold last week, but I think Seattle's too much of a work in progress on offense and their secondary is awful.
Browns at Ravens in Baltimore. The Ravens are 11.5-point favorites. Humongous spread for the NFL. 44.5 is the over-under. I think the Ravens come in ticked off after last week, something to prove, and it's a bad day to be a Brown.
You know
the Ravens to cover.
You know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say?
It's a great line to pick the Browns.
It is because it's so big. I agree. I think the Ravens are picked.
Dude, I might have taken the Browns at like 8. Genuinely.
But I don't see a world where the Browns are going to be able to score points is the problem. And you know that the Ravens are going to be able to score points.
But why do I not think the Browns are going to score points?
Because
Baltimore's defense did not look as good as we thought it would last week. And Flacco back in Baltimore, man, you just never know what's going to happen.
16 on Cincinnati, though.
Yeah, it could have been 20 if Mr. Schmidt made some kicks. Um, Although it's a classic spot to pick the Browns plus 11.5. No one in their right mind is picking the Browns in this game. I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole in Survivor. I actually do need to make my Survivor pick now that I think about it. I'll take the Ravens to win this game, but it could be spooky because it's eerily reminiscent of last year when they lost at home to the Raiders in week 2.
And it's AFC North, so anything goes, of
You
course.
never know.
Broncos at Colts. This is the first game of the 4:00 window from Indianapolis. Denver is 1.5-point favorites. How about this Daniel Jones fella for the Indianapolis Colts? Broncos also didn't look great last week. Over under at 43.5. Give me Sean Payton and the Broncos to bounce back here. I think it's a little bit come down to earth moment for Indianapolis. I think the Dolphins are that bad, or at least were last week. And I think the Broncos kind of they were lucky to win in some ways. They didn't look impressive. I think this is a little bit more what we expected out of the Broncos this year. And Sean Payton and Bo Nix, they get it going a little bit. Because remember, this is a playoff team from a year ago, and they have one of the better defenses in the National Football League.
You might not agree with me. You know me. I'm a sicko. Okay. If I was on the sickos committee, I'd be the president. This is the game in week 2 I'm looking the most forward to,
Brother.
because I'm fascinated to see if Daniel Jones looks like he did last week and if Bo Nix looks like he did last week. And I don't know what to expect. And I love both head coaches in this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be fascinating. And I think it comes down to what quarterback screws up. Because Jones was flawless last week and Nix was anything but. Both defenses have a propensity to force turnovers. We know that Indianapolis vastly upgraded their secondary. And we know what Bo Nix did last week against a bad Titans defense. Give me the Colts to win this game at home.
All right.
I think that they carry some positive momentum over, and it seems like the spot where Daniel Jones crashes back to earth. But I think Bo Nix is gonna make a mistake down the stretch, and Indy wins a ugly game, like 17-16 type beat. Yeah, I'm a total sicko. I love the Peyton Manning Bowl. I'll take the Colts at home, man. And the all-white fit, by the way. The all-white fit.
All right. Let's go rapid fire a little bit here. Unfortunately, these are some of the best games, but we're just becoming more and more pressed for time in our busy schedules here. 4:00 Panthers at Cardinals. Arizona 7.5-point favorites. Give me the Cardinals here. Panthers look terrible week 1.
Panthers are a joke.
All right. Eagles at Chiefs. Huge game at Arrowhead Stadium. Super Bowl rematch in the 4:30 spot. Eagles are 1.5-point favorites. Whew. Big game. Give me the Chiefs. They bounce back after last week. I think it's one of those games. First of all, you got blown out in the Super Bowl and you lost week 1. The Chiefs don't lose 3 games in a row. When does that ever happen? So give me Kansas City to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas City home dog, prove it spot for them. Can't start 0-2. Mahomes will find a way. Close game, but Kansas City gets it done. Yeah, I'd love to dive more into it, but
I know it.
Timing.
I know it. I'm sorry. Sunday Night Football, rather. Minnesota 3.5-point favorites. They host the Falcons. 44.5 is the over/under. Fascinating game here because I enjoyed what I saw in spurts out of the Falcons in week 1, and I think maybe we should be a little more high on the Falcons than we were coming into the year. And we saw some good things out of J.J. McCarthy, and I think something that cannot be talked about enough is the resilience that was shown. You start the game very poorly, you bounce back, and then you find a way to win. And it's not easy to find ways to win games in the National Football League. This is not college football. The Vikings showing that was impressive. Give me the Vikings because they're at home. Give me the Falcons to cover. Vikings by a field goal here.
Fascinating matchup. Last year's rookie quarterback duo, 2023 national championship rematch, Penix and McCarthy. Vikings, man. You can't lose in those Bud Grant throwbacks. They're beautiful. Give me the Vikings with throwback mojo, and I just think they're a better team from top to bottom, but going to be an awesome quarterback battle. I can't wait to see how Penix follows up his week 1 performance.
Monday night doubleheader. First and foremost, the Buccaneers at the Texans. Houston is 2.5-point favorites at home against the Buccaneers. Houston did not look great on offense in week 1. They lose to the Chargers on the road out in Los Angeles. Give me the Buccaneers to go into Houston and beat the Texans. And I know that sounds crazy because how do you bounce back from an 0-2 start? I think they'll do it. I have the Texans as a playoff team, but give me the Buccaneers to get it done here on Monday Night Football.
I'll take the Texans in this one at
Okay.
home opener, all white fit mojo. Seems like a good spot to get right against a defense that's not nearly as good as the one they played last week. But Buccaneers are also gonna score against a pretty good defense as well.
Baker Mayfield, great quarterback. All right, and then your Monday night finale, 10 o'clock kick at Allegiant Stadium out in Vegas. Chargers at Raiders. LA is 3.5-point favorites, over under at 46.5. I think the Chargers are rolling. Great divisional game in the AFC West. We said it, the Raiders are going to be a hard out. They just showed the Patriots that last week. I was really impressed with Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, and the Raiders. But with that being said, I was astounded by the performance of Justin Herbert out in Brazil against the Chiefs. Give me the Chargers to win this one. Give me the Chargers to cover. They'll win by like a touchdown, or they'll win 24-20 or something like that. So give me the Chargers to cover. Good game. Excited to watch this game. It's going to be a fun one, but I think Herbert continues to prove that they're legit.
I think there's going to be some points in this game. That's kind of my only thing I got for no rhyme or reason. Give me the Raiders. I like a home dog in a
Ooh.
divisional game. You know I do. So give me the Raiders in Monday Night Football after dark. I'm really excited for an old 10 p.m. kickoff.
Love it. Love it. Enjoy Thursday night football tonight, people. Enjoy a great weekend of both college and NFL football. For Raza, I'm Gio. We'll talk to you next time on GIC.